Hey, Instagram. How about we go live with an expert on humic and fulvic complexes? What? You don't know what those are? That's all right. I'm going to teach you, actually, more to the point. Carolyn from B Minerals is. Let me invite her in. Give me one sec. There we go. Look who's here.
There I am. I'm not sorry. I didn't quite know how to do that.
That's all right. Hey, Carolyn. So guys, let me introduce Carolyn. She runs a company called B Minerals. She blew me away on a podcast. I've known about Shilajit for a long time, which is a kind of a mineral gummy stuff, and it's never done anything for me. And Carolyn explained exactly what happens when you mix humic and fulvic mineral complexes at the right particle size and you take them. And she inspired me to go out and read all these PubMed papers. And holy crap, there's so much evidence behind this stuff, but it's something we've talked about for like 30 or 40 years. So people, it's just not as trendy as it's going to be now, because studies show that using the right size of humic and fulvic complexes has anti-inflammatory effects that rival some pharmaceuticals. Like, wow, which was amazing. So this is stuff I've been adding it to my coffee, and you can't taste it, and you just pour it in there, and then magically you got a whole bunch of trace minerals, and your cells could dump minerals. So tell me about kind of a summary of what our podcast was. What are these humic and fulvic things that you guys make?
Yeah, there's a couple things to just start with. And, I think a lot of people don't even really understand minerals and the need for minerals and how important they are in your body, how they literally are the components that are essential for the development of all the enzymes that run the body, et cetera. So without them, your body will cease to function, literally. So you have to have minerals. And again, we all know that our food supply is depleted of minerals because of production farming, et cetera. So we really need to supplement. And
wait a minute.
Yeah.
Do you mean kale might not be high in minerals?
Even kale you grew in your backyard organic garden. A lot of people think, well, I'm growing in my backyard garden, but the fact is, every time you grow in your garden, those plants that are growing suck the minerals out of your soil, and you have to put them back, or your food grown right in your backyard garden will also be depleted of minerals. So it's something really to remember. But so people say, okay, well, I need minerals. I'll take some calcium pills. I'll take some magnesium, whatever. And the fact is, it's really not a great way to supplement minerals. It's not very absorbable. It's not very assimilatable, which means your body doesn't actually utilize very much of it. Actually, only like 10 or 12% of pills, powders, drinks that you take.
Now, Carolyn, yeah. It feels like salts, the way we're taking those things, are actually useful. I mean, there's a reason animals will travel forever to get salts. And so I think mineral salts have a role, but it's that if you're not getting ionic minerals that can actually come into the cells, I don't think it's fair to say you need only one of the two. It feels like we need both to be really fully balanced. Am I overstating that?
Well, let me put some context around it. This is sort of something we talked a little bit about on the other podcast. We weren't able to get into it, but there's a couple things. One of the things is that fulvic and humic mineral complexes are full spectrum minerals, micronutrients, like 70 plus micronutrients, minerals, some amino acids are in the humic. Some vitamin B, some B vitamins are in the humic. So if you look at the composition, the mineral composition of your cell salts, it's much less. Okay, that's the first thing. So it doesn't provide everything you need. Again, it's a great place to start. It's just not going to give you everything you need. The other thing is that salts in general can be an irritant to the system. Okay, so I'm not saying that you don't need salt. Of course you need salt, but drinking salt water to get your minerals is not the most effective way, because your system gets irritated. That's why some of the diuretic effects that you'll have from some things actually have to do with that irritation. So that said, now we can talk about the humic and fulvic. So the humic and fulvic, beyond just being incredible providers of a myriad of mineral compound or complexes, they also have some incredible capacities. So let's talk about the fulvic. So we call fulvic the transporter, and what it does is it crosses the cell barrier. It's a very, very small molecularly sized component, molecule, and it crosses the cell barrier, brings 60 times its weight or up to 60 times its weight of nutrients into the cell, right into the mitochondria. And then because of its electrical charge, it actually has its ability to change its polarity, and it gathers up toxins, biowaste, whatever the cell is ready to get rid of, and carries again 60 times its weight of that out of the cell. So many of us, because we are low in flavonoids, these tools that increase our the ability of our cells to get rid of toxins of biowaste, our cells are kind of toxified. So when you add this fulvic to your system, you're allowing your system to get rid of a lot of stuff. Okay, so and you're also allowing your system to effectively assimilate and utilize a lot of the nutrients that you're taking in through all of your other health regimens, as well as the food that you're eating. So that's fulvic.
Here's a question for you around that. You mentioned having flavonoids, and people who read either Headstrong or Superhuman, my books on either the brain or on aging, know about how important flavonoids, these color compounds from plants, are, and they're just hyper concentrated. In fact, when you look at the B minerals, it's almost black. There's so many of them in there, just like coffee is black, which is another source of polyphenols, but not so much flavonoids. If I take flavonoids from B minerals with polyphenols from, I don't know, coffee or tea or something like that, is there an added absorption benefit from the flavonoids being with the polyphenols?
Absolutely. So as an example, even, I take thyroid as an example. after taking the minerals for many years, I had to lower my dose of the thyroid. So when I drink alcohol, if I drink the tiniest little bit, I will get high just like that. I mean, I don't drink very much, but when I do, I'm a very cheap drunk.
And if you actually put B minerals in your tequila, it's just going to knock you out because the absorption goes up rapidly, right?
Well, it's kind of funny because one time we were at a show, and these women came up. They were going to have like some drinking party that night, and they bought a bottle of our electrolytes to drink with their alcohol to see how it was. I never heard back from them, and I don't recommend it. But it is a scientific. I mean, it really is that's the backed by science piece that we talk about. So the other piece is the humic, and that's when you look at the microboost and you see that black color, that dark color, which the lovely thing about it is it doesn't taste bad. When we give people a little shot glass of the microboost to taste, they kind of go, I don't know if I want to drink it, because they're sure it's going to taste like those horrible other minerals they've tasted. Right. And then they drink it and it tastes like water, and they're like, whoa, that's amazing. Go on. Did you want to say something, Dave?
No, keep going. I was just avoiding avoiding an interruption here.
Oh, okay.
The joys of doing lives.
So the humic is a very large molecule, the humic complex, and it hangs out in the bloodstream, and it's very highly charged, and it has all these receptor sites on the outside. The way I like to describe it, and I talked about it in the podcast, is as a Velcro ball, if you think about it like that. And all these receptor sites that gather free radicals and bio-waste and chelate with heavy metals and gather other toxins. And at a certain point, it kind of gets so heavy at a molecular weight level that it falls out of solution. And then it leaves your body through all the normal channels. And this substance is actually what like all trees, plants, and animals use already in nature as what we call nature's janitor. It's the system detoxifier. Okay. Mm-hmm. So, sometimes people say, well, couldn't I just take MicroBoost because it does have some fulvic in it. And the fulvic being the flavonoid, that transporter in, and the humic being this janitor. But one of the things that I want to explain, it's kind of important to know, is that the reason there's fulvic in MicroBoost is because the fulvic has this amazing ability, they're studying it worldwide, to keep that solution within a certain pH range. And humic will only stay in solution, meaning dissolved, ionized, within a certain pH range. So there's not really a full dose of those fulvic flavonoids in the MicroBoost. So the other, sometimes people say, oh, maybe I should just take the electrolytes because, I just need energy, and it's great for upping your energy because it ups the nutrient uptake in your body. But we say, if you're getting all that these toxins out of your cells into your bloodstream, you also want to get those out of your body. So use the MicroBoost. So anyway, that's the main thing. And lots of people since the podcast have been asking us, what's the difference between the two? Why would I take both? And one of the main things I want people to understand is that when you take both, it costs the same as if you're going to take one of them. Because if you take MicroBoost, you would take a full capsule a day. A cap, like full cap of the bottle. And if you take them together, you take half of each. So.
Okay, so it's kind of the same. To be honest, I usually just use the one that's got both in it.
Yeah, I know, and that's fine. You've also are taking a raft of other things that are also adding to your mineral composition in your body. So if it's the only mineral supplementation you're taking, I definitely recommend taking both.
That makes good sense. For me, getting the ground up unicorn horns was really tough, but I finally managed it. And man, they absorb like no one's business. It's kind of funny because delivery technology is one of the most important things. And if that doesn't make sense to you guys, think about this. If you were to take a bunch of kale and eat it, it's going to absorb in one way. And if you throw it in a blender and smash it up, it's going to absorb in a different way that actually makes it even worse for you. So it's the same food, but it doesn't absorb the same way. So how does that work? Well, supplements are the same way. And if you look at some of the weird ones that I make, there's one called Unfair Advantage, where they come in little bullet-shaped plastic thingies. You have to twist the cap off, and it's for freshness, but it's because I needed them in little liposomes in a way so that you can feel it. But if you just take a pill of the same stuff, you can take 10 pills. It doesn't do anything. Right. So it turns out it's not what supplement is. It's what supplement plus delivery system got it through your gut and through your cell membranes. And what I learned from Carolyn in this interview was the unique ability of these humic and fulvic complexes when they're at the right molecular size. It's measured in Daltons. And that's what they do that's different. And when you have the right molecular size, it actually can go into the cell and escort junk out of the cell, which is very hard to do, which is pretty cool.
Yes. And so people, and this is one of the things people should look for when they're looking for mineral supplementation, particularly fulvic. Fulvic acids are not the same. And so when Dave is talking about the size, that's why we've had this little back and forth about humic complexes different than humic acids. So these humic complexes are of that we'll call it the Dalton size, that effectively absorbs and assimilates. So absorption is getting something into your bloodstream, and assimilation is getting that into your cells. And you need to have both pathways to effectively get minerals into your system. You can take all those huge horse pills of calcium, or you can, powders, you can drink drinks, you can take the powder and mix it in your water, of electrolytes or whatever, and you're getting very, very little of that actually absorbed and assimilated. The cool thing about B minerals, that I love, is when you drink it, the minute it hits your tongue, it's already starting to be absorbed into your circulation.
Surprisingly, most supplements, if you put them onto your tongue, they'll absorb very, very well. I make one that's in a lozenge for that reason, because you get actually 20 times better absorption if you suck on it versus you swallow it. So you can rinse your mouth with the bean minerals or spray it in. The spray, it's weird. I know that stuff absorbs through the skin, but you're saying, Dave, here, spray this stuff on your face. I'm like, look, I don't even believe in Shilajit. I've tried like 20 different kinds and it doesn't work. Like, just to be really, it's never done anything for me other than taste weird. And you explain the science, and I looked at all the PubMed. I'm like, holy crap, I actually missed something here. It wasn't done right. So I will admit this. The first bottle of spray that you sent, I was like, oh, okay, I sprayed it on once, whatever. And I gave it away to a friend. Like, I'm never going to do this. But then my wife had a really bad headache, like a migraine. I'm like, okay, sprayed on her neck. And 5 minutes later, she's like, wow, like this is really noticeably different. What the heck? So I actually spray it on my face and breathe in when I do it the way you talked about on the show. So, I actually bought more of it. So I agreed with people who follow me on Instagram and everywhere else. I'm going to talk about the stuff that I use. I get you guys a discount whenever I can, but I'm just going to openly share. So you can think I'm full of BS because I put the mineral stuff on my skin. But given what I know about cell membranes and the science that you showed me about how it goes in, I think it's useful to have enough minerals in your face. What about hair? Do people like spray in their hair?
People do. I don't know. I actually get a lot of scalp pain, and different people get this. It's like literally your hair follicles hurt, and I spray it on that, and that takes it away in like 5 minutes. Very, very quickly. We've had people, we've over the years gone to lots of shows where we give out tastes of, and we give out those little bottles of our Instalights, they're called, and it's the spray. Yep. And we had an old guy come by, he was on a cane and couldn't walk very well, and we were telling him, we had a little sign there that said, do you have leg cramps? Try our spray. And he told us he gets leg cramps every single night. So we gave him a bottle of spray and said, go home and come back tomorrow and let us know if it worked. He came back and he bought like 10 of our bigger bottles. He's like, I'm never living without this again. So the people who have those chronic cramps, some people get them in their hands, their feet, their legs at night, they swear by the spray. It does, as you said, often work for people with headaches, sometimes with sinus pain, it can help. I found it to be one of the most, I'm always finding more uses for it. If my son hurt his shoulder golfing, sprayed it on. The next morning he was like, hey, I think it's okay. That kind of, yeah. And
it's dirt cheap, compared to, so you get a little bottle of the spray. I don't know what you guys charge for, but it's not very much. And you a few sprays, like it lasts a long time. So it's not like you're, selling a skincare product that's $200 for a little squirt. It's, reasonably affordable, but noticeable, I would say. And for me, that's a big thing. There's a couple of questions on here.
What are they?
Ranch, no, it's not magnesium spray. It's humic and fulvic from Beam Minerals. Let's see, Brie Parlet.
Let me just say something about that magnesium thing, okay? One of the things that people don't know is a lot of people are selling magnesium,
salt,
all sorts of stuff for cramps. The thing that people don't know is, lots of different mineral depletion pieces can be creating your cramp. It might not just be magnesium. So that's why you want to use this full spectrum mineral fulvic spray, which is going to provide everything you need. The other cool thing about it is that it also recharges the electrical system in the area that you spray it. So when you think about it, it's literally like spraying on an electrical charge into the area, which then works electrically. That's why it works so quickly. One of the reasons that it works so quickly.
It's changing the charge on the cell membrane. And the magnesium oil stuff, if you're really short in magnesium, it'll work, but it's oily. It's itchy. Exactly. I hate magnesium oil, that stuff that you put on your skin. And I've used it a few times. And for people who need it, I've recommended it. It's like it works if you really need it. But if you were to try the Beam Mineral stuff, it sprays on and it goes away. You can't even tell it's there. Right? So there's no scum on your skin, which I never liked for stuff like that.
Yeah, me too.
Couple quick questions. One is Brie Parlet says, is there a promo code for this? If so, what is it? It's Dave. All right. Use the word Dave
it's
on the
Dave.
website and they'll give you something special. I don't know what it is, but I'm sure it's good.
We'll give you 20% off.
Oh, there you go. That's actually, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Thank you for offering that to listeners.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then
we really want to support biohackers.
Well, biohackers will find that this is very much in their universe. Kay Burns, menstrual cramps. Do you have any evidence for menstrual cramps? Do you use it just over the abdomen? Do you drink it? How do you use it for that?
A couple things. First of all, we've had several women say that have had painful periods for years, and after taking the microboost and electrolytes together these are women who've taken it for over a year, their periods have resolved and they're no longer having painful periods. But they've also used the spray, and they spray it on their lower back and on their abdomen when they're having cramps, and they do get some relief.
What I'm going to call there is that's probably, it's probably not happening because of mineral repletion right away. The thing that happens over time, it's probably electrical. Like if you increase the electrical charge, you make the mitochondria work better, you can make more electrons, the body stops freaking out and you have less pain and you have better respiration. When you have low mitochondrial respiration, you get something called pseudohypoxia, where there's cells get a little bit swollen, there's less oxygen, and that's muscle knots and tension and all that. Well, if you fix the electricity, you're going to have less pseudohypoxia and you're going to have less pain. Does that seem accurate with your knowledge?
Absolutely. And the other thing is that sometimes the painful periods can also have to do with toxification.
Yeah.
Because the menstruation is a time when you're letting go of a lot of stuff. And so if your system is more detoxified from using the humic on a regular basis, it's going to support less of the detoxification effects during your menstruation.
Okay. Bet is saying that the code Dave didn't work, but she might have used all lowercase, not all uppercase. I'm just following the comments through here.
It should work. Can you just, are you going to text her, or do you want me to?
Yeah, I just replied in here, said try Dave, all capitals. Guys, I'll tell you this, if it doesn't work, I'm pretty sure because we have the head of the company on here. If it doesn't work, put your order in the comments, be like, you're supposed to give me the Dave discount. I bet you will do it. So
just tell her to send an email to info@Beam Minerals and just tell them you want the code. And I'm sure that it should work.
Oh, here we go. Sue says she did lowercase. She's lowercase Dave, all lowercase. Let's see if it was.
She can also try Biohacked.
Oh, Biohacked, HACKED. Try that one, guys.
Yeah.
Bet tried both. Oh, here Ive says use all caps. There you go. I love how like the community is like, oh, we'll solve this problem, because I should.
Does it have to be all caps?
Ive says it worked in all caps.
Okay.
So we know we have one that works there, and others it seems we're not sure. So. Sorry, guys.
Here's the other thing that sometimes people try to do a recurring order, which offers them a 20% off, and then they want also to use the Dave discount because they're hoping 40% off. And I'm sorry, we can't do that.
Small businesses like to stay in business, guys. Who would have ever imagined that? And I can tell you, we all want to get you our stuff at the lowest possible cost so that you'll use more of it because it's good for you. We also want to be able to make enough money to pay our employees and all that kind of stuff. So
it's actually a really high value for us. We've worked really hard to keep the cost of our product low. A lot of people, they put their product very high and then they offer 50% discounts and, free shipping and all that. And we're like, well, that's not real.
Yeah. It's, there's a comment here, I love it, from I Am Chapilo. Upper or lower should work. They should work depending on which programmer wrote the code, my friend. I used to be a programmer too. So
I think it should work either way, but okay, who knows? Who knows?
All right. Well, I want to thank you for coming on the episode. It was actually way more interesting just to go so deep in the science on humic and fulvic. I had missed some of that. I was peripherally aware of it. I didn't get the results from Shilajit. I didn't know why. So I'm like, it's one of those things like kale. Everyone says it does something, but it doesn't really. And then you try it the right way. And I did. And I really noticed that there was a difference for it. So that's why I had you here on Instagram. I want you guys to know about this. And now we finally got the code.
Dave, thanks so much for having me too. It's really a pleasure. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. really been one of my mentors. So it's kind of, it's like, woo.
Awesome. Well, I'm always happy to help.
Yeah.
Guys, if you like this, make sure you follow Beam Minerals, share it with friends and tag friends and all the cool Instagram behavior stuff that I mostly understand because I use Instagram. If I was on TikTok, I'd be completely toast. Carolyn, we'll be in touch, I'm sure. Guys,
all right.
see you later.
Thank you. Bye-bye.